Do You Know Your Inner Child by Cherokee Billie. As an adult, we lose connection with the child within. When we are children, we are in such a hurry to grow up that we neglect the fact that there's still a child within us. Each one of us has an inner child that is crying for our attention. The way the inner child often manifests its needs is through your feelings. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when adults are afraid of the inner child. What the inner child is trying to do is tell you that it needs love and attention. Inside, you are still a child even though you are in a grown-up body. We are conditioned by society, school, family, friends, authority, government, and the media to be an adult and stop being childish. These are some of the influences that stop the connection between you and the inner child within you. How many times have you been told, "Act your age"? Yes, it is true that we do need to be responsible adults, but there is a part of you that is still a child, and it is lashing out at you, crying for attention. Sometimes the inner child is afraid from past experiences and from current situations. The inner child needs the adult you to comfort it. I have noticed over the last 3 decades that more adults enjoy Halloween and wearing costumes than they did when I was a child. This has to do with playing with your inner child, and people do not realize that this is what they are doing when they put on costumes. It's also another reason that many adults enjoy Disney World and other amusement parks, because it allows the inner child play. Even though you are unaware of your inner child, it often leads you to these sorts of things. Have you noticed how good you feel after having an experience that makes you laugh? Laughter is a connection to our inner child. You have heard the expression that a happy heart is like medicine, and it is true. It is difficult being an adult in today's stress-filled world, and this is why it's crucial to make a connection to your child within. Here are some examples of how your inner child is trying to get your attention. You have deep sadness and cannot figure out why. You feel emptiness, and you choose to feel the emptiness with food, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, addictive behavior, fixating on another person, cutting yourself, sex, gambling, and many others. Nothing you do stops the feelings you have, and the inner child starts throwing temper tantrums, which manifest in some of the ways that I mentioned above. So how can you satisfy this inner child? First off, acknowledge this child. You can give it a name or call it by your own name. I call my inner child Little Billie. Start talking to this child within just like you would talk to a child that you love. No matter how rotten you may feel, start telling your inner child how much you love them and appreciate their being in your life. This is important to do every day, just like you would your own children or pet that you love. What does your child want to do for fun? Think of things that make you happy, that made you happy when you were a child, and find ways to start doing some of them again. Go to a toy store and just browse through the different aisles. Then let your inner child rejoice in seeing the things it would love. Go ahead and buy a toy that your inner child wants and take it home and play with it. Have fun together. Dance with your inner child. Let the child within sing. Play a musical instrument, even if it's only a tambourine. As you are playing, talk with your inner child. Start a journal for your inner child. You can say things such as "Good morning, I love you," and wait for a response. Remember, sometimes the inner child may be angry because of years of neglect. Wait for the response and write it down. So you need to be gentle and loving, just like you would be with a baby or a little animal. Write daily, even if it's only for a few minutes. I know this may sound strange, but it works. This is a personal process and is not something that needs someone else to help you with. It is between your inner child and you. Let the inner child feel safe with you. The more that you connect to who you really are inside, you will slowly start the process of having a happier and more content inner child. This in turn leads to a happier adult. As time progresses and you develop a connection to your inner child, you will find the emptiness receding and a lessening of addictive behavior. The key to life is to have as much happiness as possible, and one of the surefire ways to develop happiness is by connecting to all parts of you. It is not unusual to have the feelings you do and not understand what it's all about. Your inner child is calling out for you, and you need to answer in a loving and productive way. Put aside the adult when you can and let the inner child out to play. You are beautiful, and you need to tell this to your inner child as well. It will take time, but you will start to see how much better you start feeling when you put these actions into practice. Go and have fun today with your inner child. Thank you for listening. This is Cherokee Billie.